Good Morning Richmond starts now.
Good Monday morning. Thanks so much for joining us for Good Morning Richmond at 6 o'clock. I'm Amy McLean.
Breaking news now.
Just into our newsroom, police are searching for the person who shot a man at a Henrico McDonald's. Take a look at this, a possible meteor right there on the left side of your screen flashing through the sky above North Carolina and Virginia. We continue to follow new developments in yesterday's mass shooting at the Fort Hood Army base in Texas. Well, in other national news, the death toll from that massive mudslide here in Washington state continues to rise. The Petersburg Police Department is once again facing accusations of police brutality and could soon be facing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit as well. This after the cell phone video you see here surfaced showing a scuffle between officers and two other people. Welcome back, everyone. Now, I wanted to do some ice scraping on my car, but we decided to use a news car instead, and Morgan's getting to work. So if you're a NASCAR fan or if you want to bring your kids out, there's a lot to see. In addition to dropping off your food and funds, you can come out here. I've got my road buddy here, Miss Sydney Cameron from 8 News. So we're just chilling and having a good time. There's also live music, so there's plenty to do here at Matt's Great 8 Tail. We want to say, of course, we're joining you live from Washington, D.C. As you said, so much to talk about on this historic day for the 57th presidential inauguration. I mean, the crowds were definitely not as large as we'd seen 4 years ago in January of 2009, but I spoke to so many families who actually made the journey back to the nation's capital. I thought there would be more families who had maybe decided to come for the first time if they had missed it in 2009, but we actually met several families who were coming back for the second time. They said they wanted to be here to witness history in the making again. And today, what really was also something noteworthy is the fact that the inauguration falls on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. This is only the second time this has ever happened. So I had a chance to speak to some folks along the National Mall about why this was such a special occasion for them. Take a listen.
What makes it special is because Dr. King, what he stood for, and I think it was God's gift that this happened today to celebrate both the inauguration of our president for another 4 years and Dr. Martin Luther King at the same time.
My birthday and his birthday was on the same day, so it's a big thing, and this is my first inauguration, so yes. I'm happy and excited to be here.
I think that, it's just amazing and ironic how we're celebrating, two great men of history.
So what do you think Dr. King would say if he were still alive to witness this?
Well, I think he'd be really happy to see that everybody's just living together, everybody's just living in peace, I think it's nice.
I think he would say it's an honor to have a first black president for 2 terms. And I think for us, it's good too, and for him.
MLK is smiling today for we are living his dream today, and I am very proud of that, and I am a living witness.
And so many people claim that they were living witnesses to history on this day. And for all of you history buffs, in case you're wondering when the first inauguration actually fell on MLK Day, it was back in 1997 when President Bill Clinton was re-sworn in for his second term. Back calling all community leaders. The new nonprofit Reach for the Dream needs your help. The group is hosting another big event, and visionary and founder Urban Johnson is here to tell us all about it. So you had the RVA Love Affair in the past. This is sort of like part 2.
It is.
And then the last day, we really dig into savings and investing and showing them how they can make their money work for them.
Awesome. Probably some things adults could use too.
Yes.
So it's great that the teens are getting a heads up. The skills and the confidence that students learn here at the Virginia Rehabilitation Center extend beyond the classroom and out here into the real world. Here at Blythe, you don't pull items off of the rack. Instead, you're assigned a fitting room, and then based on your style and your size, fitters will bring a variety of options to you. And that's what customers love. For Kristen Harris, breast cancer could have been a death sentence. Her mom passed away from the disease 8 years ago. And last March, at 32 years old, Harris became the 4th generation in her family to be diagnosed with the same type of hereditary cancer. But thanks to aggressive, targeted therapy, Harris has hope.
I am the 1st generation in my family that has a very real chance of surviving this.
When one of Harris's breasts felt weird, she called her radiologist, Dr. Ellen Shaw DeParedes, to see if that that was a good enough reason to come in for a visit.
Her response was, "You know your body better than anyone. If you think there's something different, come on in. We'll check it out." And it turned out that I had a 5.5 centimeter tumor at that point.
That was stage 3 cancer. And more women like Harris are battling breast cancer at a young age.
We see in our practice certainly many women in their 30s and even occasionally in their 20s with breast cancer.
In most of these cases, the cancer runs in the family. And as with Harris, detecting the tumor can be tricky. That's because younger women tend to have dense breast tissue, and routine mammograms won't always detect cancer. So MRIs can work better for this age group.
Certainly MRI is more sensitive in finding breast cancer in women of any age, but particularly in women with dense breasts or younger patients.
If breast cancer runs in your family, the American Cancer Society recommends that you have a regular MRI along with a mammogram each year, starting 10 years earlier than the age of your relative's diagnosis. So if your mom or sister was diagnosed at 35 years old, you should start routine testing at 25. For the past 18 months, Harris has gone through aggressive chemotherapy and hair loss, but with fun wigs to complement her beautiful smile and her joyful spirit, you wouldn't even know it. Now that her battle with cancer is coming to an end, she wants to motivate more women to learn about their risk for breast cancer.
Being informed is really the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself. It's knowing your family history, considering genetic testing if you're a candidate for that.
We should note that Harris goes in for her last treatment this month, and we could not be more excited for her.
Well, the biggest fundraiser in the local fight against sickle cell disease is just a few days away. We're, of course, talking about the annual Unity Ride.
Yeah, each year the ride ends at Second Baptist Church of South Richmond, and for one church member in particular, this ride is especially important.
You know, I'm a strong believer that when you are conceived, that God knows what He wants you to do in life.
Florence Neal Cooper Smith discovered her divine purpose at 10 years old when she stumbled upon a medical journal about sickle cell anemia.
It was a disease that affected colored people. And then it went on to say that there was no cure, you were born with it, and you died young. I never forgot it.
In 1972, that passion eventually pushed her to leave a government job where she'd been for 17 years to run the first Virginia Sickle Cell Anemia Awareness Program at MCV. At a time when little was known about sickle cell disease, Smith's program brought screening, research, and education to Richmond. And even at 83 years old, she is still on the move.
Well, it's like anything else. If you don't keep beating a drum, it loses its sound.
Now, this pioneer is encouraging her church, Second Baptist Church of South Richmond, and the entire faith community to make more families aware of this genetic blood disorder. Sickle cell anemia affects more than 100,000 people across the country, most of them people of color.
Sickle cell becomes a part of our mission because it affects a good portion of our population.
Under the leadership of Senior Pastor Ralph Hodge, Second Baptist Church of South Richmond has hosted every sickle cell unity ride for the past 6 years.
You have to be here on a Saturday when you hear 400 or 500 motorcycles coming in, the police are leading us in, and the crowd is out here getting excited. So we use the motorcycles as a draw.
These are pictures from last year's Unity Ride. The annual fundraiser raises thousands of dollars to support sickle cell survivors. Smith says she wants to raise $1 million before she dies, and she's not giving up anytime soon. Well, before we leave you, a big happy birthday shout out. A happy 100th birthday to Robnette Huff. She's from Beaver Dam, and she says that she enjoys reading her Bible, attending church, and watching TV, including 8 News. So we appreciate her being a dedicated fan. We wish you all the best. We'll see you next. Bye-bye.